The left loves to talk about being pro-choice or a woman's right to choose abortion and all these sorts of things, but they really are not pro-choice on so many things. They don't want you to have a choice about your health care, for example. We saw that years ago. They don't want you having a choice about disagreeing with them. They would rather cancel you out. Well, there's another kind of choice that the left does not want you to have, and that is school choice. Well, yesterday, a public school advocacy organization called the Oklahoma Parent Legislative Action Committee, which, by the way, consists largely of teachers' union members, they filed a lawsuit against the Oklahoma statewide virtual charter school board. They claimed that the board there violated the state's constitution when it approved the first virtual religious charter school, the St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School. In essence, it's the first taxpayer-funded religious charter school. Well, here now to discuss this with me is Ryan Walters, Oklahoma State School Superintendent. Superintendent Walters, welcome back to Washington Watch. Great to have you again.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for shining a light on this issue where we see radical leftists that are attacking the parents' right to choose a religious school if they want to for their children. We're always going to defend a parent's right to make that decision. And again, we see the left trying to take that decision away from parents, and we're not going to stand for it.
Well, listen, I saw a statement from you this morning that literally, it almost made me jump out of my chair for excitement. When you basically said that this lawsuit against the St. Isidore school is that these people are pushing for is atheism as a state-sponsored religion. Please unpack that further for us.
Absolutely. So what we see here is this myth of separation of church and state that the left has used to weaponize the state to attack the religious beliefs, and honestly, just to be even more frank, Christianity and the church. That's what they are doing with the myth of separation of church and state. They are trying to use it to create atheism as a state-sponsored religion by saying no mention of God can be present, no religious actors can be present, and we are going to flush all of this out of the school system. We're going to literally go in and rewrite history, take out references to God, references to faith, references to the church. This is a war on Christianity and the religious liberties that our founders enshrined in the Constitution. So that's where we are going to be clear on this. We are going to defend religious liberty. We will not allow state government or federal government to be weaponized against Christians.
Well, I absolutely could not agree with you more. I just regret that all 50 states don't have school superintendents who understand this like you do. Now, you are in the midst of this right here in Oklahoma. On the one hand, who would ever imagine that this type of battle would come to Oklahoma in the first place? But on the other hand, for other states to have their head in the sand and somehow believe this is not coming to my state, what would you say to them?
Oh, it's coming to your state. It's present in your state. We are in a very red state here in Oklahoma. We're a very conservative state. But what we've seen is the left-wing radicals utilize the apparatuses of the teachers union to push, bully, and intimidate lawmakers and schools into allowing left-wing ideology, into allowing these attacks on schools. And frankly, they threaten these lawsuits. They threaten a lawsuit on me nearly every day. You got the same actors. It's the ACLU. It's the Freedom from Religion institution or organization, whatever their name is. But, what they're trying to do is they try to scare schools. They try to scare elected officials into backing this state-sponsored atheism. And the reality is, the founders were clear. Faith played a huge role in what made this country exceptional. We have to protect religious liberties of every individual so that they can practice and exercise their religion. This is fundamental. If this country is going to continue to be the greatest country in the history of the world, faith must be protected through religious liberty. We have to defend this. It doesn't matter how red your state is. the federal government and these radical left-wing groups are absolutely working together in this war on faith, this war on Christianity. You must find the ways to fight back, find the ways to empower families to be more engaged in their schools, find ways for them to choose the school of their choice. That includes religious options. Make sure that the state is not being weaponized to push the religious community in our churches out of our schools. Because again, if they're able to control and indoctrinate our kids, this is over. I mean, we have to be able to allow our kids to exercise religious beliefs. They need to understand the founding of this country and the role that faith played, and they need to understand the principles that made this country great, or we're not going to continue to be a great country.
Well, absolutely. I mean, just while you were talking there, I go back to even George Washington's farewell address, where he made it very clear: religion and morality are indispensable supports to our entire system of governance. And he went on and said, you can't consider yourself a patriot if you don't understand the role of religion and morality. And for us to no longer teach that, for us to no longer pass that baton from one generation to the next, is not only damaging for those individuals, but for the health and the well-being of our country as a whole. All right, just real quick, one more question for you. Seeing this battle has come to you in Oklahoma, what advice do you give to other state school superintendents across the country who, like you, are tired of the left running every facet of our educational system?
Be bold. Move quickly. You have to have a sense of urgency. We have kids in our school systems that are being indoctrinated. We have to get this course corrected immediately for the future of every individual child and for the future of the country. Empower every parent with school choice. Make sure that they have rights in their school so that they control what their kids are being taught. Make sure the teachers' unions' power is minimized. The teachers' union should not be running education. Parents should. And then lastly, make sure that you've got good curriculum in our schools that support our history. Our kids should be inspired by this nation's history. Our kids should understand the primary documents, those founding resources and documents. Because again, as you just quoted, if you read our history, there's no denying the role faith played. But again, what the left is trying to do is they're trying to take those parts out of our history. They're trying to have our kids dumbed down so that they don't understand the role faith plays. And then they're trying to weaponize the state against our religious beliefs. So this is where you have to act boldly. You have to take powers out of the hands of bureaucrats and unions, put them in the hands of parents, and defend religious liberties.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Oklahoma School Superintendent Ryan Walters. You're a hero. We love you. Thank God for you. Keep the torch ablaze, my friend.